Alec, what's going on? I'm Daryl from season 3 of The Walking Dead when you wore a poncho.
I I have the Lady of the Tower from
Yeah, you're just
Bloodburn
a
on my
guy who's
shirt.
wearing his
I'm
shirt.
just a schlub. I'm just a schlub
Fucking.
who's sweating a little bit, and
I'm sweating in his poncho. I'm
you're
working
sweating
out
his
here.
poncho. Ooh, dang! I'm working here.
I'm working.
No, I'm
Yeah,
walking here, but yeah,
I'm working here.
I'm working here. Yeah, it's going pretty good, I guess.
I, I'm dressed for the occasion. I'm a Walking Dead character.
Yeah,
Alright.
The Walking Dead. Hey,
So,
well, I gotta kill some zombies.
family. We're family.
Hey, my friend Winnie the
Okay.
Pooh. All right. Anyway, I don't know where the hell I came from.
Alright.
Anyway,
So
uh,
today we're gonna be discussing our game plan because in the event that a zombie apocalypse breaks out, this is we're gonna discuss our Tarqaron plan
yeah,
because we have to meet up obviously to make it work. So we need to know ahead of time where we're going. What's the plan here?
yeah. Well, you're already partially dressed for the occasion since you're already
Mm-hmm.
a Walking Dead
I'm a
character. So,
Walking Dead character.
okay. So I guess so. What would force us to have to like so if we're the two that's like we have to decide. All right, we have to meet together. What would like drive us to be like we have to make this a Tarkaron thing. We can't just
Because
have
we're establishing it now. This is our plan.
this is
So
our
in
plan.
so in the event a zombie apocalypse
So that would mean
outbreaks,
all of our friends and family all die, maybe? Would that necessarily
do we want?
necessitate that,
Would we
or
like everybody to be? Or would we like our family to be dead?
no? I would not. So
So
would
then
we?
there's some different factors we have to take into
Yeah.
account. If everybody is conveniently alive that we want to be alive,
Well, I guess my parents, I would want to find a safe place for them because both my brothers live in completely different parts of the world right now. So that would be hard, difficult to get them all together.
hmm
I'm going to guess that maybe my two housemates both turned, and I didn't. So bye to both of you, I guess. And that's what's going to draw me. All right, I got to make my way down. I got to make
gotta
my
go
way
to New
down to
Jersey.
Zach. Yeah, I got to go to New Jersey. All right.
We'll see.
So
Yeah, realistically, we're probably not meeting up in a zombie apocalypse. Probably
right,
that's just the end for us
yeah,
because it's like quite a long ways to go just to meet up.
it is.
And
But
and we also have people near us, hopefully still alive,
yeah,
that we know
yeah,
and care about, but they're like dead or something.
yeah. So in the effect that like we have to for some reason there has to be there's probably some goal. There'd probably be some goal like it's like all right, well maybe we have to meet up and then like go somewhere. Maybe we'd like meet part way on the journey
Yeah.
as we're going. Maybe we're gonna
So
make our way out west or something.
yeah, what's the point where we meet for between where you and I live?
Yeah, it would be kind of hard to say. So I mean I'm fortunate enough that I live in a relatively speaking sparsely populated part of the country. So me going traveling anywhere that's slightly more populated would be very dangerous. So I feel like you are starting probably more in the danger zone. Um, based on
Well,
I don't know
yeah,
how densely it's populated where you live,
it's like
but
my house is on a highway,
yeah,
but if I go down a couple roads, it's like very rural,
okay.
and we're in. And congrats, you're in Trump country signs. So
Okay, so all right, you got some.
also, yeah, the
So those
maybe
people have
hostile,
guns. So those people have guns. So you probably want to stay away from them because they might
unless we
just
want to get them.
unless you want to get
It
them.
just
Maybe you could try to.
depends.
Would you try to what? Would you ally yourself with these people now?
It
This
has
is the
to
real
align with
question
the
now.
Trumpers.
Yeah, you'd have to. I mean,
It's
hey,
the
they
only
got the
way.
guns, and you need that to defend yourself. So
It's the only way. See, it depends on the condition of the town at this point. Because if it's all run down, I know I
yeah,
can try to find some guns. But if not, then it's like they're gonna be held up with guns and be very hostile
mm.
environment. Probably. It's like, are you liberal? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll be the first thing they ask. I'm sure.
Yeah. It's like I thought
Um,
we were breaking down barriers here. This is an apocalypse. We're
um,
supposed to band together.
Well, I mean, I live in like, live free or die, New Hampshire. Yeah, freedom and all that. I mean, it's
Hmm.
still relatively liberal around where I live, but you still, when you go out to a certain, certain parts of the certain towns and stuff, yeah, you're in Trump country when you reach those places. Um, but
But we'll all come together for the greater good during these
yeah,
troubling
I think we
times.
will.
There's like
I
like the coronavirus, we all band together so well.
Yeah, because I don't. So I don't. I personally don't have any weaponry. Not really. Um,
Yeah,
that's actually a something I have. I'm like thinking about doing at some point. But
weapon
someday.
training or getting a weapon.
Both. I'd maybe an LTC at some point as well. But I don't necessarily. I'm not necessarily like I'm gung ho about that. That's just like yeah, maybe I'll do that in the future. I don't know. But yeah,
I want
regardless,
to learn how to use a bow staff. Honestly, is what I wanted.
a
I just
bow.
a bow
Use a
staff
whoosh.
because I like doing that kind of stuff, but I want to be
Because well,
professionally trained.
and there you have some range with that too. You got more range than just your fists,
Hmm.
which would be
And
very
it's the whole thing on The Walking Dead, to where it's like they have this whole moral debate of whether it's like should we sharpen the stick or not for when we're like fighting humans and stuff, you know? Because sharpen the stick means you're killing people. We don't have to kill people. We can just
yeah,
incapacitate them with the staff.
it's
But
true.
yeah, so but where will we? What's our plan for weapons?
I mean, I think we got to have a little mixture of both, right? A mixture of range and close range, of long range and close range. I mean, I've always been very fond of Shaun of the Dead's cricket bat. I've always been really
Hmm.
fond of that, but I don't have access to a cricket bat, so I don't really know what I would. Maybe just a bat
Just
of
get a
some kind.
bat. Yeah, like
Yeah, a bat would be
I have
fine. I
some
think.
like I'm pretty sure I still have some metal baseball bats in my garage.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. Those aluminum bats are like really pretty durable.
Yeah.
I still not with me here, but at my folks' place, they still have some old metal bats that my brothers had in like the 80s. So yeah, they can stand the test of time. I mean, obviously they're not using. We never use those to like beat people with.
Yeah,
So, but
like I
yeah,
have
they're durable to a point.
those kinds of things I have, but I don't have any guns, and I've never used guns really, so
Mm,
I would need to work on that.
yeah, but you could also try the whole archery route. You be an archer. Do
I
you
would
want a
love to do that.
bow? Would you?
I would honestly.
Oh, okay.
I've always been interested in bow and arrow kind of stuff.
So have you ever done like archery things like that? Have you ever done
Only when I
any
was
of that
really
kind of stuff?
young, like it did a little
Yeah,
bit. I would like to be like I want to be a professional with a bow and arrow and a bow
yeah.
staff. I like that kind of stuff, but
I did it at camp a few times. It's been probably like 10 years or something
yeah,
since I've done anything like that, but maybe more honestly. Thinking about that. It's funny though because I'm thinking of the way bows are built these days is very like you could makeshift your own or what have you. I'm sure you could find a an archer's delight book. I don't know, but like how to make your own bow.
that's gonna be
But
my
like
that's gonna be the name of my novel.
archer's delight. I mean, it makes sense too, right?
But
But
wait,
the
what would we both bring to the table though? Like weapons is really we can't plan on it. Like until we're together,
yeah,
we need to.
it's true. We can't really.
Unless we
Um,
just have to get something to hold us off until then. So we're gonna form a group. Like we're not lasting with just us.
no,
We need
yeah,
a
we would
group.
need to get some people together.
But what are
I
we
mean,
bringing to the
if
dynamic? What are our survival skills?
okay, so if in the off chance that my housemates are not both dead, um, they would be crazy invaluable assets. Because one of them is like I would call him super outdoorsman man. I mean, he works at like an outdoor sports store. He's like a manager, but he's done like the Appalachian Trail. He did the Pacific Northwest Trail.
Mm-hmm.
a couple years ago. Um, Both of those, take months to do. So he's done both of those, and yeah, so he's very experienced. Um, he would be somebody that I would be relying on for survival out in the woods. Let's
Well,
just
he
let's just
died.
say, well, I would take all of his stuff to be able to figure it out. I would literally take everything that he has at our house here.
Mm-hmm.
Then my other housemate is like really big into he did like robotics in high school. He works with a local high school robotics team. So he's like really big and good into engineering. He has a wood shop here. He's very crafts oriented. So he would be able to make and build things that would
Mm-hmm.
probably work well as weapons. He's built several walking staffs, which I feel would also work as staffs,
Yeah.
like beating with you staffs and bows. So
Well, he died too.
okay,
So,
well,
so now what you
I
got
then I
for
would
me?
loot everything else that he would have. So I would have supplies. I would definitely have supplies here. That would
Mm-hmm.
definitely be a possibility because like we're not necessarily the most we're not in a super populated part. I mean, I guess we're relatively populated. There's a college. Dartmouth College is actually like very close to where I live. I, I guess you can use that information for what you will, weirdos on the internet. But so that's kind of dangerous. I feel like that's not a good thing. I'd want to
College
probably get out of here.
campuses. Yeah.
Yeah, probably want to get out of here just because like college campuses would be like just
Not because of the zombies, just because of stupid college students.
yeah, yeah. What the hell,
Friggin'
man? They're just gonna just be
they're
partying while
partying.
everyone's
They're just
dying. Yeah, they're
partying
just partying.
still.
Yeah, they got like the zombie tied up in the basement. They're like, yeah, woo. Yeah,
Honestly,
there's
though,
like,
I mean, you see the
oh.
response to coronavirus, like the partying and stuff. I
Mm.
would totally buy that people would be partying. It's like, have you seen a zombie? I haven't seen a
Oh,
zombie. Uh,
well, the some of the grad students that lived here over the summer, they threw parties.
yeah.
And it was like, and the local people were like, "What the hell are they doing?" And the cops had to like go break it up, and be
Yeah.
like, "You guys can't be doing this.
They had like
Were ordered to not having gatherings of this many people. Like, you can't do that."
there was like packed beach like a week into the pandemic,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah. Well,
and
yeah.
I saw like
With the
I saw the interviews of on the
yeah.
beach, all the idiots out there,
Those were very
and they're like,
embarrassing, and I hope those people are ashamed for what they
and they're
did.
like, "Do you know anybody with coronavirus? I don't.
Yeah, it
Maybe
was
it's
just
not
like,
real."
yeah, we're
So,
just like, well, we're just here. We're young, we're not gonna get sick, and it's
mhm.
like cool.
and so they're gonna do the same thing with the zombie apocalypse. That had nothing to
Yeah,
do with the
probably.
college kids.
Yeah,
Like, yo, you only
yeah.
live
So
once. Well, maybe twice now. I don't know.
yeah, I
Let's
don't
find
know.
out.
Yeah, yeah. Who's to say being a zombie's all that bad, right? So it's like, um,
So yeah, you got to get away from there.
yeah. So get away from there because that would be a really bad place to be. Also, it would be a gun-free zone, so I feel like that would just be like
Mm.
uh, yeah, up for the pickings. In that scenario, yeah, getting away from here. So getting supplied up, getting into a car, and get supplied up as quickly as possible is definitely a necessity. I don't know if I would steal my work vehicle or not. It's a Transit. It's a Ford Transit. If I'd had a truck still, I would definitely take that
Hmm.
because I would just put tons of stuff in the back and weight it up. With something like this, I would have to find a way to like tear all the shelving out in order to have a better storage. It would work better than my sedan, my personal vehicle. So I would probably one of the first things I would probably do would be yeah, supply up all the stuff that they have, all the useful things that I can find that my housemates have. But yeah,
Leave all the video games behind. It's
yeah,
over.
yeah, it would have to. Yep, they'd all just stay here. People could come in and loot if they want. I guess they're just things at that point. It's my life. I will take my Samus Aran uh, arm cannon.
See,
That'll be useful.
we are not prepared for the apocalypse because
Oh no, we're not at all.
we have rooms full of useless stuff. Like they'll just
Yeah,
immediately lose all value when an apocalypse breaks out.
yeah. So the stuff we have definitely isn't useful.
But it's hard to say that at the onset of an apocalypse how exactly it'll go, like
Yeah.
how rapidly and how chaotic it is immediately,
Well, well,
because
well,
that'll
well.
tell us how much time we have, like, because you don't have to worry about gas. Like if you
Yeah.
just like immediately want to get stuff, but you don't know
Yeah.
how much notice you have to.
Right. Exactly. That would be the dangerous part. How? So what about you? Do you have like more vehicles or anything like at your
No, we're
disposal?
toast, dude.
Oh, okay.
I
Well.
got my vehicle, which is a 2003 Toyota Solara,
Oh
and
hell yeah! I see. I've got a 2005 Toyota Camry. So I think my 2017 Ford Transit's probably a better bet.
and my mom's car is like really on its last legs as it is, like it's on its way out, so not good. So my car wouldn't be good for the apocalypse. It's not very roomy either, so
Yeah.
would like a better. We'll have to use your vehicle for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, would you pull some Grand Theft Auto to be able to get to where we need to meet, or would you
Right.
just have to use some vehicles?
I don't know. Well, how I don't think the drive is actually that long, honestly. If we have some place to meet midway,
I feel like it would have to be. We try to get
couple,
somewhere like remote, kind of,
say
but
a
maybe
couple
not too
hours.
remote. Yeah, somewhere in upstate New York, maybe.
Okay, upstate New York. We need to.
That would be like 3 to 4 hours for me, though. That's the
Hmm,
only thing. So it would be a little longer for me to drive, particularly through like Vermont. Do you think Vermont would be remote? Certainly. There's just whole swaths of Vermont that is just completely in the middle of nowhere. It'd be very defensible, certainly.
I heard they have some
Um,
garden flower shops in Vermont.
that's a little reference for those of you who've watched some of our other
Right.
videos. So,
Our most recent video.
and yeah, in fact, we may in fact be wearing the same clothing in that video.
No,
Um, no way.
never.
Yeah.
Well, so what I was asking before is that what dynamic would you bring to
Oh, what
a group?
dynamic would I bring?
Like
Well, I thought you were asking like
well,
what I would
what's
literally
well,
bring.
I'm saying what skills are you bringing to the table?
Well, it's certainly not cooking. It's definitely not that.
Neither of us can cook.
Okay,
That's
so
good.
we're screwed.
We need to find a
I
cook.
think essentially we're yeah, okay, we could recruit a
It's
cook
gonna be like
maybe.
One Piece.
We
We're gonna
gotta get our
assemble.
pirate crew
We're gonna
on
assemble a
the
thing. We need a cook. We need a doctor.
what's the ship called? The Going Merry? Is that what the
I
Merry
don't remember
something?
actually.
It's something like that. The ship in One Piece. I don't remember, but it's the Merry something, Going
So not
Merry or something
cooking.
like that. Yeah, so we'd have to. I mean, I know some people. I know some folks. But you said my housemates are both dead. So it's like even if I know some people, they're gonna be dead now
Oh,
too.
I'm
Because
asking you
I know
what are
people.
you bringing to the table in terms of
I don't know.
your
I don't
skill
really
set?
have.
What skill?
Do I
What is
have
your
any
skill
skills?
set is
Okay, okay,
applicable
okay.
to
Well,
the zombie
I
apocalypse?
feel like I'm pretty good. I feel like I'm pretty decent at like analysis, because of that. Yeah, I'm basically the light Yagami or the
Vision.
L, the Shulk. I have a
Zombies.
premonitions ahead of me. A deadly premonition. I feel like I would be able to have some like tactical or other sort of, yeah, analyzing knowledge, scenario analysis, I guess, maybe like sort of planning out like, okay, we have like this amount of supplies, we need to get this and this, and then we need to go. So like maybe at the very least, maybe in terms of like figuring out strategies to where we need to go or what we should prioritize. I feel like I'm pretty good at like maybe delegating or at the very least being the planning sort of stage guy.
Hmm.
Maybe not necessarily being like, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm be a great leader, because I don't necessarily think that. But I would definitely be like a strategist, I think, and I feel like I could keep track of like food rations and things like that. So I'd be okay with that.
Okay,
Um,
you'll be the bookkeeper.
yeah, the bookkeeper. Yeah, maybe a little bit keeping supplies and things like that. I have to do that. I mean, I have to do that with all my work vehicle stuff. I have to keep track of like supplies and things like that I have and what I need and when I need it.
Hmm.
So I feel like I'm already sort of geared towards that problem solving on the fly, which is often what I have to do for again for my job. So I feel like I'm those kind of skills I think would be
Hmm.
useful for sure.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah. How about yourself? What do you bring to the table? What are you bringing
I
to
have
the table
leadership
here?
skills.
Okay,
I
you've
would be
got
a
the leadership.
leader.
Well, you've got. I mean, at the very least, you need some levity too. I mean, you might be a leader, but you can also be like, you know, a little bit of levity here and there.
The funny, the funny man,
The funny man
the
leader. Yeah.
jokester,
The,
otherwise known as the useless man in the apocalypse. The guy who's
oh,
just making jokes.
guy who's making jokes in the
I'm helping
apocalypse.
morale, guys. That's what I'm contributing. It's like Rob Cisternino in the Amazon, where he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
make people laugh. I'm
yeah,
not great with
yeah.
survival stuff." No, but I do have some leadership skills, I think, and I mean I can when I get a group together, I can get people to do stuff like I
Well,
can
you
get it
you
done.
lead you lead this ship.
Tarqaron,
Yeah.
yes.
So
So I can do that. I feel like if we got some sort of council, I can be on the council of making decisions.
okay.
Uh, Depends how big our community is getting, or for just a little group traveling.
Would I be your right hand man? And my right hand man. Dun dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun. Boom.
We can say that because I don't know who these
Yeah.
other people are.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just there's just random people in this council. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think I can get along with with different personalities, even if I don't like I can get along with the Bros. I
with
know how to get along with the Trumpers, but I can adapt to different personalities. And I
yeah,
think
there
I'm
you
a
go.
pretty reasonable person, so it's like I like to think of things
Yeah, I mean,
logically.
like I can get along with the liberal cucks. Yeah, we can do this.
Like I can see things
Uh,
logically, so I'm not gonna overreact to stuff, and it's all chill over here, all good vibes.
nice. There you go. Well, I mean that is honestly being able to sort of I don't know using a weird political thing, but being able to like reach across the aisle, I guess
I'm a
is
bipartisan
is a,
zombie apocalypse leader.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely important to be likable and to be approachable. Um, so I think I would agree with you. I think that has
That being said, I
its
also have
merits.
zero tolerance for
Zero
I've run
tolerance.
I've run out of like a lot of my patience over the years where
All right, that's
I
it.
used
Yeah,
to
you
put
have
up
to
with a
say
lot more, and now it's like if you do something scummy, it's like you're done, you're out of here.
this is a side tangent, but do you remember the Zero Tolerance
Yes, I
podcast?
do. No one else does. No one
No
else
one
does
else, no
though.
one else, no one else listening to this does, but yeah, good memories. The the
But so we need to go out and find people that can do actual work quick.
yeah. So would we be able to? I mean, I know some people. I know some other people, like people, coworkers of mine.
That's
I'd be
the
able to
problem
maybe
though.
get a hold
You
of.
know people, but it's like communication when it's down, it's like chaos,
Would
right?
the communication be down? So are we saying that the phone lines have all been cut?
Let's
All
say
all
we're
the
like
cell towers are down?
yeah, let's
Down?
say we're past that point because then it's like almost too easy at that point. It's like get a group message quick, get a group text
Yeah.
going. Everybody just go here. It's all good because then it's like that's when it's chaos. That's why we need the plan because we need to know where to go without being able to just call and say, "Hey,
Who are we gonna
let's
call?
meet up." And then it's like you can't just I'm gonna call my chef guy, see if he's alive. You don't know, and then people are not just chilling at home. People are all over the place. So that's why I think the zombie apocalypse thing is such a compelling story is because it does force people to come together that are from different walks of life
Well,
usually.
I like I said, because I have to think on the fly and I'm adaptable. I would at the very least, if I if none of those people were reachable, I would. I feel like I would be able to find or I would be able to create a scenario in which no, but I would be able to like figure out a scenario in which I could find the right people, whether it's aligning myself in a certain way. So it's interesting because it's almost like our goal is to be able to find a way that we meet up together. But it's like in order to get to a point where I do that, yes, I have the supplies I can put into my truck, but I'm going to need people more than just myself. I'm going to need in my work vehicle, I can only hold. There's only at one other passenger seat, so I can really only realistically hold one other person unless someone else is in the back with all the crap, which is, I guess, possible. Um, so I would have to be able to find somebody. I would probably have to find some muscle, and I would probably have to find some, at least someone who's good at survivalist type things.
Mm-hmm.
I have ideas of places I can look, and if that fails, then I know I have enough people skills to be able to maybe charm my way into. Not saying I'm a charming person, but I've rolled well enough on my charisma stat in my life to be able to at least talk to somebody and be persuasive. So I'm not super high on that, but at the very least, I think I would be able to plan in a scenario and to try to get to a point where I can find people like that who are willing to, whether it's taking advantage of I need to get out of this place now, or uh, I need to go meet up with somebody down here, and hey, you seem like you have some preparations in order and maybe some sort of a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we just need to have a place in mind. We obviously aren't going to pinpoint an exact location, but let's say we did pinpoint an exact location in upstate New York or something.
Buffalo, maybe that's a little out of the way for both of us. I mean, not maybe not Buffalo specifically because that's a city, but like maybe the lake sort of region, maybe because it seems parts of that are remote and mountainous enough that there
Mm-hmm.
would be a lot less people.
The problem, yeah, and you have to think about the
But
annoying
we also have to
stuff
think about
you
like
don't want to.
supplies
Yeah,
too.
the annoying stuff you don't want to think about long term. Like, might have to have some farming
Yeah,
capability, so like some farming land, because
yeah.
when food's gonna
Well,
run
that's
out
going to be
quickly.
super valuable. That'll be super valuable. Maybe so short term at the very least, maybe getting to somewhere like there where you could overwinter, depending on the time of year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think long term would be finding a place out in the Midwest somewhere where farming would be a lot easier.
And people are fewer and farther between. It's
Yeah,
always good too. Like the
yeah,
cities are a no go.
yeah. The trick of a lot of that is going to be a lot of those places will be seized and used, whether it's by maybe a governmental sort of force or maybe the government's collapsed. I'm not sure, but if it's Walking Dead rules and the government's basically essentially been collapsed and
Mm-hmm.
it's you know every man for himself more or less. But
It's like
regardless, it's you then have to contend with other people thinking of the same ideas with the farms when it comes to that. So that's when the muscle or weapon usage may
mm-hmm.
come into. So
And that's also when
would we be willing? So here's the thing: violence or diplomacy. What would we be forced to do? I feel like in my case, I would not want to seek. Obviously, this is again we don't know because we don't not in this scenario, but I feel like thinking about it, I would not want to incite when attempting to maybe either make my way into a place that has a farming sort of setup. I would try diplomacy first, certainly, and then if met with resistance, either moving on or if forced to, then maybe resorting to a violent means. But
you would
I
hope
really
that
only I would really hope not because I wouldn't like to die in a
you would hope
scenario
that
like that.
humanity would prevail in these situations. Like you would hope that people you stumble upon might be accommodating and like let's work together
Yeah,
rather than let's
I feel
fight
like
over this territory right now.
you would be able to. Yeah, you would usually be able to tell, regardless of. You would usually be able to tell like who is doing how people would feel by like even just approaching the property. You'd be able to tell if somebody is more welcoming to like newcomers than not.
I feel like the farther you're into the apocalypse, the more hostile it will be because people
Yeah,
are more set and like you have to not be as
yeah. It's like
inviting.
we don't
But
want outsiders near
yeah,
here.
but
Yeah,
like early on to the apocalypse, you would think that people would be willing to work together
yeah,
more
yeah.
because like it's a new
Because they would,
thing and
yeah. Because this new thing you're forced to sort of help out and stick out for each other. I mean, because I would say for the most part, and I just want to say this like just generally speaking, I think for the most part in our current situation with the COVID, I think most people are willing to comply and are willing to do like listen to
Yeah.
so like are willing to care about other people in terms of what they do.
And then you
And I say
have
that generally
yeah.
speaking because I definitely know of many people who don't think that
You're
way.
talking about the never maskers.
Yeah, or the weird. Okay, so like okay, for example, I was in a CVS earlier today, or no, it was a Circle K, and some lady was like, there were signs everywhere that said if you do not have a mask, you will be asked to leave. And
Yeah.
this brazen like 75, 80-year-old lady was just in there without a mask, and I was like, what are you doing? I wanted to just be like, get out.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I work at a grocery store. We get it all the time,
yeah,
and I love how they just look like everybody's giving them dirty looks because
yeah,
it's like you can't. It's not our responsibility to throw them out. You know, it's like
yeah,
it's a state law,
yeah.
but it's like there's savages. I'm always like there's maskless savages among us.
Those
Look over
maskless
there.
savages. Yeah, I mean, and that's the
But
thing
you
is,
have those people. Those people I do not want
yeah,
to interact with at all. Maskless savages.
yeah,
Imagine
because yeah.
zombie apocalypse breaks out now. We're so screwed. The most divided the
Well, it's
country has
because
ever
yeah,
been.
we're like
Coronavirus happening.
I would say ideologically we're probably more divided than we've ever been. We're not like Civil War levels of divided yet. Hopefully it won't get back to that point ever again. Um, but
But it's like you have people
yeah,
where it's like they cannot work together because they're just like they identify as different things. So that's like
yeah,
immediate hostility in an apocalypse thing where it's
yeah.
like, no, I'm not working with you. You voted for
So
Hillary.
the ultimate goal to be get out of this country, maybe maybe
Get
get
the
to
hell
can
out of here.
yeah get out of here, get to like Canada or something.
Can't trust anybody
Um,
here.
you can't trust those
Hmm.
Canadians either. I don't know. Oh, they're pretty shady.
I don't
They're
think
pretty
so.
shady, eh? Got
But
that poutine.
that would be quite the journey for us.
The journey, the Yukon. We go Yukon Ho. We could do Calvin Hobbes. We should go to the Yukon.
But I'm saying we need to establish. Well, like I'm just saying, uh, we established we're going to New York somewhere,
yeah,
and
upstate
then
New York, I think is
and
good.
like we
Yeah,
have the spot in mind, and then that'll just be the end goal. It's like one of us might make it there a lot earlier than the other, but you can just like try to set up camp around there so that eventually
yeah.
we'll cross paths, or the other person will be dead and it won't ever happen. And you'll
Set up
know
a ham radio.
set up a ham radio, and if like you go to the area and it's like completely run over and destroyed, you set up some signs or something, but like telling them to go this way.
Yeah, would we? Okay, between me and you, would we have like a Maybe we should like establish like maybe a signal of some sort, like maybe a marker or something.
Just like
Of
yeah, like a
like a
Tarqaron
Tarqaron,
symbol.
a symbol.
They
Yeah,
come up with
for
their own symbol,
yeah, yeah.
and then yeah, but so what would the symbol indicate though?
Maybe it could be. It could even be like a cipher or something, like something that only somebody, only we would get or understand, like a reference or a name or. I mean, Tarqaron. Even just writing Tarqaron somewhere would be.
Just to like, but if that's supposed to indicate like go somewhere else or
Yeah,
say
maybe as a you're headed towards the right place, or a
because I feel like
marker of.
that'll be a general thing that anybody would think though if they saw a sign. It's like okay, well we're getting to somewhere, right? So any sort of signage
Yeah,
might invite people we don't want, but it
potential
might be
to
the
that
risk.
as well as well.
It might be the risk we're willing to take in the long term.
But you could also, well, here's the thing: you could have like Tarkaron, and then have like the thumb and arrow pointed that way, but we're actually like in not the opposite direction, but like not quite that direction. We would.
So when
It
when
would
you see the
indicate,
Tarqaron arrow, it
yeah,
means you go to
it means you
northeast
go,
of that
yeah,
arrow.
Yeah, you go north northeast for 90 paces, and then
Just
you actually take an immediate 180-degree turn,
how are we
and
gonna
then you
plan
go
this?
that way.
We're gonna plan all this out ahead of time, and so
Yeah,
we just
I
have
mean,
to
I guess
hope that
yeah.
like it lines up with where a good place would be.
Mm.
Because it's like we established this is the exact location we want to meet up. We want to meet up around this little donut shop
In the
in New
donut
York.
shop.
And but then it's like you go there, and if there's nothing you can establish there, you just have something that indicates where to go from there for when the second person arrives.
Yeah, we don't have like a Shaun of the Dead plan now, do we? It's just
We
at
need to
the
establish a trail.
stay at the Winchester and sit back, have a pint, and wait for this whole thing to blow
Mm-hmm.
over.
We probably have to establish a trail, but that's the only problem is that everybody will see the trail. Like go this way, go this
Unless
way.
it's a hidden. Yeah, yeah. I guess, or maybe not though. Hmm.
But like we said, hope you would hope that people wouldn't immediately be like, "Oh, let's go f up this camp. Let's just like ruin their lives to better ourselves." You would hope that they would be like, "Okay, let's work together. Let's go find this camp and we can work together." So I mean, that's something we can hope for, and hope that it
Hmm.
doesn't take like 3 years for the other person to
Yeah.
get
Well.
there.
Yeah. I would hope not.
So because like if it's
If
getting
it'd be that long, then we would expect one of the other person to be dead at
yeah,
that point.
yeah, how much time does it have to take for the other person to be dead? Like because it shouldn't take long at all to get there.
No. Even on even on foot, it would only take maybe a couple, like maybe like a week or two, depending on the pace.
Yeah, so give it like a month.
Couple, well, we'll say a couple weeks to a month. Yeah. I would say in the event of like maybe there was a delay of some sort, maybe someone had to, I don't know, some sort of something.
But
I
like
would say
we'll just make ourselves obligated to stay for at least a month. If
at least
it's
a month,
not a livable
maybe
situation, then we
yeah.
can leave.
Then we can leave, and then maybe try to chart our way to maybe hopefully run into the other person.
We could always like if we really were holding out that much hope, we just keep continuing the trail of arrows or whatever. But there's
Tarqaron symbols.
some point you got to give it up if they're not there within a couple months, and you're going even further away. I wouldn't expect
Yeah,
to meet up.
yeah, it's true.
But in dramatic TV fashion, though, we'll end up crossing paths 2 years later. It's like
We each
I
have like
thought you were dead. I thought you were
huge
dead.
like grizzled beards.
What happened? You didn't meet up at the location, and then it's like a crazy story about how you were
Yeah, but
abducted.
when we meet, we both are like it's like gun to gun. We're both like it's like we're like
Rival gangs,
yeah, our both our gangs. Yeah,
and then it's like a whole story about why one of us didn't end up going to the meetup location. We weren't able to.
we've got this whole like backstory scenario where yeah.
We got sidetracked. Had to intervene in something else. We got abducted and taken eight states away, and we fought our way all the way back to here. We followed your arrow trails.
Yeah, so it's like if I was planning for this whole apocalypse, I would felt like I'm just thinking back on weapons because like there is a Ruger factory that's fairly close by. But the thing is, everyone's gonna hit that. Everyone's gonna hit that. Everyone's gonna hit like the WalMarts, your hunting supplies. Everyone's gonna hit everything. So it's like I feel like I need to. I
The
would have had
WalMarts. I'm not going
your
anywhere near a
WalMarts.
Walmart, dude.
Oh yeah, WalMarts. It'll just be nowhere close to a Walmart.
This is
That's for sure. That'd be a freaking nightmare. People will be literally killing each other
yeah,
over
it's like already a
stuff.
nightmare on Black Friday. So imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, stay away from any of the big stores because yeah, it's a freaking nightmare, and you will
Mm-hmm.
die by your most likely
People will be
because
like, "Why is everybody rioting?"
people will be literally rioting and like blood will like flow throughout the aisles and like and
Jesus.
I don't even mean that like jokingly. I mean that's like legitimately what would happen.
How
So
quickly do we turn to It's absolute
I,
savagery.
I see. I don't think everyone will, but I think if depending on the severity of how acute it is, it happens. Not everybody will do that, but people who are willing to go to Walmart to do that would do that. I feel
So you
like.
think immediately as the government is falling apart, we're gonna as some people operate on purge rules, like
I
anything
think some.
goes now.
I think some advantageous people would. I
That's
think. I
not
think there
fun.
would. No. I think there would be. I think there would be a large enough amount of people to maybe hopefully quell something like that. But the problem is that they would a lot of the people who are in that scenario would also need to make sure that they were the ones in possession of the dangerous firearms to make sure that the people who would the rabble rousers wouldn't grab hold of anything like that,
Hmm.
so that you know who the right people to give the stuff out to is at that point, so like the right person to delegate that stuff and not just leave it up to people who would the ne'er do wells.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this it's a terrifying situation.
it is for sure. How quickly does it take hold? How many people does it kill? Like, does it kill people quickly? Does it take hold? Is it gradual?
Well,
I think that is a very huge determining factor in how quickly things go down. Because if it's relatively slow, like if it's only like a few cases at a time, and then all of a sudden it just starts spreading, then I think we've got more. There's a lot more chances for things to play out in a more positive way. But if this is like a very sudden and immediate outbreak where like all of a sudden just like thousands and thousands of people are affected, then you see the chaos of which I described.
always found it difficult to grasp how a zombie apocalypse becomes so severe. Like in a world like with military and things like this. Because the hypothetical thing is that it starts with one person usually, right? It's like the idea, and then it spreads from
Yeah,
there. But you'd
yeah,
think that you'd be able to shut that down, like it would be pretty noticeable.
yeah.
But then somehow we end up with like cities full of zombies and cars abandoned on the highway, just like absolute chaos.
Well, I mean, like Last of Us rules, right? You have whole basically cities are the designated zones where the provincial or militaristic government has essentially taken over and they keep track of everything. They're sort of the regulation of the world at that point, or at least of the country. So yeah, we would definitely see martial law take hold. It would just kind of it would almost have to be an inevitability. I hate that like it sounds really dark to say that, but like in an apocalyptic event, it seems it seems naive to think that that wouldn't happen because they're the ones with the huge amounts of weaponry at their disposal.
Yeah.
The military, and the police forces, both local and militarized, both probably have more ammunition than ones than anyone else, unless you're like a gun nut. So either making friends or staying as far away as possible from people like that, what one or the other would have to kind of be the case there. So do you in I guess in our scenario we don't I wouldn't necessarily I don't think I would trust that as far as I could throw it, so I wouldn't have anything to do with that. I wouldn't,
Yeah.
you know,
Hey, we just gotta get a little farm, retreat to a
Gill
farm,
Gill
and
Farm in
keep to
upstate New
ourselves.
York.
We need to get some people. We need more company, though, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it wouldn't just be me and you. I mean, we would obviously have to have some sort of small entourage together to get to where we need
Just
to go.
imagine not being able to find anyone, though. It's like just long stretches of like you just can't
And just,
find anyone. That'd be rough.
and just like, hey, you're a loser.
Because then it comes to the point where it's like, yeah, it's risky, but we just gotta start taking trips to places. Hope we find people. You know, that's what people a lot of times will take trips to the city, at
Yeah,
least for like a run to
a
see what
supply
supply
run.
you can
Yeah.
get. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I I I could probably ride a horse for whatever
I've
that's
never
worth.
ridden a horse before.
Never ridden a horse. I rode when I was very young, so a lot of that is not been pertained over the years. But I know enough about horses to be able to. I feel like I would be able to pick up riding pretty
Hmm.
relatively quickly. So
Also, do we understand the severity of how much we're losing from an apocalypse? By the way, like,
I
just
don't.
try
Well,
to grasp,
obviously because this is
just,
just a goofy scenario. No,
just try to
but
grasp that, like, you lose the internet, we lose all the information that the internet has, we
yeah.
lose history. Like, if someone's not like perfectly preserving our history somewhere, we're like losing out on years of history now.
So we need archivists. I would definitely be somebody who would be very interested in doing
Yeah,
that.
but it's like, what are you gonna like if you don't, if you can't find the material, you're just gonna recall as much as you can by memory, and it'll be rough.
Yeah, I mean, here's another thing. Books aren't going to be the most valuable thing. I mean, they will eventually, like, depending on how long this draws out for, if this is forever, books will become invaluable sources of information later
Mm-hmm.
on. But when this is first starting, books are just going to be like fire starter material. Like, books aren't going to be all that important in that period of time. There's like, I mean,
Well, so then yeah, maybe they're just getting burned away then.
yeah, well, yeah, when they will be super important later on. But
So that's what I'm just saying. This in the grand scheme of things, we're losing out on all of our history. You know, it's like,
losing out the whole thing I went to college for.
and then it's like everything you have to build it from scratch almost. Like, that's why I think it's a cool concept. Just the idea you have to like rebuild community from the ground up, like come up with
It's
your own
it's
laws and
yeah, it's bleak in its own way, but it's like it's also like you get to the extremes of humanity come out at a point like that. I think that's what makes it the most compelling because like you see you're forced to either choose the worst of humanity or like try to be the better, try to be the good parts, the gracious parts of humanity, but it can be really tough when such horrible stuff is going down.
and it's
People
like
aren't
what
people aren't people aren't typically built or wired to think of the best outcome. It's like almost evolutionarily we sort of like we still kind of think of like what's the worst possible outcome. I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't know. But like, what's the worst possible outcome, and you just kind of assume the worst, and yeah.
yeah.
So, but
So
no, I agree that that is the compelling part of the whole discussion is how people react to when they're put up against a wall in
well,
that
that's
sort
the
of way.
beauty. That's the beauty of it too, is that people come together for the
Yeah,
greater good, and it's nice. We're gonna get
but
we're gonna get Rusty and Ryan in this somehow. We gotta meet up with
yeah,
them.
they would come from the yonder state, the Midwest. They would be in the Midwest, so maybe we would have to go meet up with them if our scenarios didn't work
Mm-hmm.
and if stuff in upstate New York didn't pan
Cole,
out
let's
too
get
well.
Cole involved.
Yeah, we get Cole in there. Yeah,
Well, at this point, let's just get everybody we know involved.
Cole would just be yeah. At this point, Cole would be like, "All right, guys,
How's it
I'm gonna
going,
be the guy.
guys?
How's it going, guys? I'm gonna be the one that runs the new government. All right, so,
And
uh,
he'll analyze our sports, our
yeah,
the
yeah,
new
he'll be
era of
able to
sports.
the new era. He'll sportsman. Yeah, he'll be the fantasy. He'll do fantasy sports for the new era.
We need people for that.
All right, so I made up a whole stat sheet of the entirety of how the college season would go this year. Uh, I made up all these people, and this is how it would go.
I really wonder how Apocalypse would go though. Like if you have internet in the beginning, it's like trying to get people together. It's like get me in as many group chats as possible. Like
Mm.
let's work together on social media. It's like, oh, who wants to meet up here? Scrounging for supplies. Anybody got supplies? And just like
Yeah, then
chaos.
those satellite internet places would be invaluable until the like the terminals or whatever you want to call them, the servers that transmit to those satellites that then transmit the information back to you.
Hmm.
If once the power at those places goes down, then the satellites are essentially useless
But it's
at
like,
that point. But
so you realize how valuable some people are when an apocalypse happens because it's like, well, no electricity, cool. Internet, yeah, we're not getting that anymore. That's just done.
Yeah,
Uh,
hydroelectric dams and stuff are going to be super invaluable. Solar, I think, will become really powerful. But the problem with solar is that those cells don't last forever. So, um,
and like things like, I mean, obviously doctors are super invaluable now.
yeah.
Like they're already highly valuable in
Mm,
society, but in an apocalypse where you've got no professional medical care, it's like you need a doctor or you're so
yeah.
screwed. For like the smallest thing, you're so screwed.
Yeah, you're back to you lose like hundreds of years of medicine. Well, maybe not hundreds, but you
In
lose
the Middle
lots.
Ages, at
Yeah, I
least.
mean, you're basically back to back to square one with a lot of that. Thankfully, you still have the ability to pass on the knowledge that we have gained, but we don't have access to like
Yeah, it's
the
not like let me get
actual
a
like
prescription real quick.
yeah. There's nothing quite like that. It's like oh well, we've got some antiseptic. We've got like stuff like that, and so it's kind of back to the 1800s in some way.
And especially if you're losing limbs out here, it's like
Yeah,
oof, it's rough. And then I mean, it's always a common thing in apocalyptic scenarios. Is childbirth. It's like
yeah.
you need a doctor. We need to find a doctor.
Everyone just has to figure out, just has to become a midwife. Just have
Hmm.
to learn how to do it. So
Yeah. Well, it's just interesting because like my job is not like valuable at all in an apocalypse, but then some are so valuable. Like in The Walking Dead, where there's like the CDC, there's like only one person left there when the group arrives at the CDC, and he
oh,
like
oh wow.
and he basically gives up. He's like, I'm done here. I'm freaking, and he explodes the place. So
Well, I mean, like I know like pest control will obviously be I mean, particularly on a farm, if that need to be,
mm-hmm.
but also just in general because when humanity starts going down, everything else is gonna thrive. Pests will thrive, so that's gonna be very important
The
to
animals will rule the world once again.
kinda yeah. Rats will just be everywhere. Be rats and mice. Rule
Snakes and
over
rats.
snakes and rats. The rule over the earth.
All right. Well, we've got a very very rough plan,
Yeah,
but
we got some ideas. I mean, this was very experimental. We had no idea where this was going to go or like what exactly we were going to talk about.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's just interesting to consider like different scenarios in any sort of apocalyptic thing. I think it works well. There's obviously a lot of fiction about this kind of idea, so
There are a
it's
lot of
fun.
misconceptions about zombie apocalypses, so we just wanted to clear
Are
the air.
there? Yeah, we just wanted to. No, yeah. That was really what we wanted to do here. Was
Don't
like, all
believe
right,
what don't believe what the
top
media
ten
is telling
things,
you.
top 10 things you need to know about the possible zombie apocalypse is what this video really was.
I love that there are actual people out there that have like stuff
That
in
a top
preparation
10,
for it.
yeah, a top 10 video on what you need to survive
Well, yeah,
the
with
zombie
like actual
apocalypse.
bunkers and preparation for apocalypse stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some people built a lot of that stuff because they were terrified during the Cold War because they were thought Russia was gonna come and nuke us.
Yeah.
All right, well, that I think that'll about wrap up this discussion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we can obviously keep going for like ages about this, but like we gotta go pull a plug somewhere. So, but yeah, I mean, like tell us down below in the comments like what are your sort of like things that you can bring to the zombie apocalypse should there be such a thing, or like general plans you may
Well, I
have
was
or
just saying that
ideas.
the zombie apocalypses are like if it actually were to happen, it'd be awful, but it's really cool to like. Honestly, wouldn't be that bad if it happened, right?
It wouldn't be that bad if it happened.
It would be interesting to live it. It
I
would
mean,
be
yeah, it
like
would definitely be interesting to live it if we lived through it, if
you
we were actually people that lived in it.
like I mean honestly you're gonna lose a lot of people you love and it'll be horrible like throughout.
But it's
But
not that bad.
it's like it's such it breaks up the monotony, right? It's like well,
Of
now we're
living.
just like we're just throwing our lives our previous lives away and now it's just bam.
Now it's a completely new exist. Yeah, it's true. It would be like a
There's something
completely new
fun about it.
existence for humanity. Like you just, All that stuff
Yeah.
that was important, not anymore. Now the most important thing
All the
is,
things we talk about on this channel: video
yeah,
games,
yep.
television, movies,
There have to be,
music.
yeah.
It's like, well,
No, there would still be music, but it would
there'd
have
be
to be
some music.
played. Yeah, it'd have to be performed all live from then on out.
I would like to live through it.
I wouldn't. That would be horrible. I mean, I would like to live, but if I
That would
was
be
in a
horrible.
scenario like that, but I would not like to live through it.
What if you found
Like
the love of
actually,
your life through it? Then it's all worth it.
I mean, then yeah, I guess then part of it would be worth it. Yeah, it's true.
Brought us together.
Because I sure haven't found that yet.
I'm
So
right there with you.
yeah,
All right, so what video would you recommend our viewers go watch if they just watch this one
boy,
on
what
our
a
channel?
wild adventure this was on. This was like I said, this was fairly experimental.
We came
So
to basically no conclusion, but we're gonna meet up somewhere in New York.
I mean, there was the point of this wasn't really a conclusion. It was just kind of throw
Yeah.
ideas around and just have a good time discussing. So, speaking about throwing ideas around and having fun discussing, you should go watch our Stranger Things 3
Oh,
review.
really?
Yeah, why not?
Is that the same thing?
No.
Hmm.
I mean, it definitely threw some ideas around and we talked about it. So there you go.
Some zombie vibes there or something? No. Stranger Things 3. Yes. All right, go check that out. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Follow us on Twitter at
Ding that notification
TarqaronTW.
bell.
Oh,
Notification bell. Don't forget that.
hit the
Yeah.
notification bell.
Ding dong.
I've been Walking Dead's very own Daryl from season 3.
I have been a schlub boy.
Thank you.